I just wanted to have a talk with you about the library service and what's been discussed over the last few days. A report's just been to Cabinet where we've discussed proposals for the library service over, well, basically for the future because of the funding cut. Before I sort of go into details about the review and what the library service review has come back with, I just want to just make 2 points really. I've been trying to talk to you over a number of, well, years now really, explaining the financial problems that we face as a city. And I guess, you know, it was interesting at the Cabinet meeting we had a lot of, well, not a lot of people, there was only a couple of dozen people, but mainly they were talking to me about setting an illegal budget and, you know, not making any reductions in services, whether it's library services or any reduction. And quite frankly, you know, I've mentioned this on numerous occasions, I'm not going to set an illegal budget. We're going to run the council in a responsible way. Well, I just needed to remind you, though, of the figures. You know, in 2010, when we took control, when I took control of the city, we used to receive from central government £514 million in grants. That's what we used to receive on top of the council tax. That's been reduced in real terms by 58%. We now, instead of getting £514 million, we get £264 million, a real terms reduction of 58%. Now that's just, you know, we cannot carry out and do the things we used to do in the same way with that massive 58% reduction in funding. So all the options that we consider are based on that fact that that amount of money, a 58% cut, has been taken off us. We haven't got it. We just simply have to provide services in a different way because the money's gone. So once you accept that, which I hope you do, we then have got to then look at how best to make those funding reductions, those funding cuts that we receive from central government, work in the best way we possibly can. And that's why we set out on the library review. And the library review has come back with a number of options. Now, I'm not making a case for, you know, a reduction in a sense because we don't need to do it. And I'm just making that case. We've got to do it. And that's why the proposals come forward with some details of how we can move our service forward, protecting as much as we can. Again, look, two things to bear in mind as well, two financial things to bear in mind as well. We're paying £2 million a year just to support the PFI costs of Central Library and £700,000 for the PFI costs of Parklands Library. That's £2.7 million we've got to find every year before we start. We're going to make a saving with the proposals of around about £2.5 million, and we're still going to be spending £7.5 million on our libraries. And when you look at you know, the library service, 48% of the people that use the library service use Central Library. And what these proposals have come back with is an offer that says that 95% of the people in the city will be less than 2 miles away from a library. We've got to remember that, you know, the library service was built for people who populated the city, nearly 1 million people, 50, 60, 70 years ago. Now we've got less than 500,000 people. And transport's better, IT systems, communication systems, new technology systems are all better. What we've got to try and do is protect the service as best we can for the poorest, the most disadvantaged as well, and providing a service that we can with the amount of money that we've got. So I hope you understand we will be able to work with some of the voluntary sector and some people that are committed to supporting and helping the city through difficult times with ideas and ways of doing things differently. We'll work with all agencies, we'll work with private sector, voluntary sector, public sector agencies to try and save as many libraries as we can. But, you know, I keep saying doing nothing isn't an option for us. And simply if we left the library service alone and didn't take a 25% cut in libraries, we'd have to find that money from one of the other services. Now, each and every one of them are going to be hard hit. Adult social care, children's services, highways, street cleansing, a whole host of services are all going to be reduced. And if we don't take savings from libraries, we'll have to find that money from somewhere else. I'm not going to play politics like other parties or other people with this issue. I'm simply going to do what I believe is the right thing, doing it in the best way we possibly can and trying to protect as much of the services that we can. So I hope you bear with us and I hope you give us time to do that. Hopefully, we won't be closing 11 libraries. We'll be closing less than that. But just give us time and let us work through this because we're doing it in the best interests of you and the city. I know it's hard because I want every library to stay open. But the reality is, as I said, I simply haven't got the money in order for us to do that.